My name is Esther, and I'm here at the Blunt Coach. So today I'd like to talk to you about how to find the right meditation for you. Well, let's say in therapeutic meditation, we don't just say meditation is meditation because, you will find a lot of stuff out there that is like meditating on your breath, meditating on eyesight, meditating on your thoughts, meditating on the universe, meditating to connect to your true self, meditating to. Alan Watts so eloquently said once that you're not meditating on, you're meditating. And Viktor Frankl said that there's the space in between, which is the meditation, the moment between the inhalation and the exhalation that they say. So it's not about what you're going for, it's that you're going. And it contradicts a little bit how we are wired in this world today, because we're goal oriented. And I must say, in a coaching perspective, most people, especially CEOs, leader functions, those people, they have a lot on their shoulders and they're going towards something. And when they come into a place where they get to experience panics, anxieties, trauma, all those kind of things that tries to take their attention away from being focused, it is because their focus is not real anymore. Most of the time when I have clients or patients that come with panic attacks and anxieties, it is because they have lost their focus, or they have lost truthfulness of their focus, of their goal, of their intention, of their purpose. And oftentimes in life, we think we must find this one purpose, and then we follow it all the way through. But purposes change because we change. And the way we perceive the world changes. And therefore, when our perception changes, also the ability to use what we're bringing to the table changes. So, but coming back to meditation, where does meditation come in here? So when you have this experience that you say like, I'm overworked, I'm stressed, I have panic attacks, whatever, I need to start meditating. Oftentimes it works for a short amount of time, but then boom, it actually backfires and it increases the suffering, the pain that you experience. Why is that? Meditation is not always meditation. And there is the kind of meditation that alters your state of bodily functions in a way, even though we say the autonomic nervous system is called autonomic because it goes by itself. There is no interference from us that could, they say, change the function of the autonomic nervous system. But that has proven to be wrong. Of course, most of the autonomic nervous system cannot be altered, but most is not everything. There is a small percentage where we can where we can go in, where we can change a teeny tiny bit of it in order to make the whole system go a little smoother again, right? So if you have a watch and that watch has like, I don't know, let's say 43 little of those wheels, right? If one teeny tiny wheel is a little bit off the rails, all the others won't function properly. And even though we have only access to this one teeny tiny wheel, it does have a huge impact on all the others and of the functionality of the watch. This is the same thing when we're talking about finding the right meditation. So there is this one meditation or this one stream of meditations that will alter the state of your autonomic nervous system in terms of helping you to wear off your cortisol, your stress-related hormone, your adrenaline, to bring them down much faster. In a way, you could always also say that it's a matter of bringing your HRV. So in a way, it is also a matter of how to infiltrate that autonomic nervous system and help it to bring down when you have a very high cortisol level throughout every day of your life, a very high level of adrenaline, which is both are hormones connected to stress, right? If you help your system with the right kind of meditation to wear them off, to build resiliency, to when it needs to have strength, power, adrenaline, cortisol, to go for something, to run from the tiger, or to actually get something done that is very stressful to your system. When it needs that, it can use it. But then when it doesn't need it anymore, it brings it back down so that it wears off and that you can come back and strengthen your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the one that actually calms you, which brings you into a state away from fight or flight into deep relaxation and into being very clear-headed. So for that kind of meditation, that is a form that would actually ask you to go really inwards, to disconnect from whatever is going on out there. There was a nice saying in the series Sex and the City where Charlotte, yes, I'm going to bring that now, where Charlotte wants to have a baby and she's at this Dr. Chow's and he gives her like all those needles, TCM, so she can finally get pregnant. And then outside of the room where she's laying, where all with those needles and whatever, and she's supposed to relax, and there's this relaxing music in the background. And then outside of the building in the cities of New York, there is a huge revolution going on, a demonstration, right? And they're loud and they're forceful and whatever. And she's in that room and she cannot relax. And she's running outside and there's all those people waiting, looking at her, scared like hell because she has all those needles. She's like, Dr. Chow, I cannot relax. So he takes her back into the room and he tells her, Charlotte, you have to learn to disconnect from the New York noise. And this is the kind of meditation that you would use if your nervous system is overrun, overworked, when there's too much fight or flight mode going on, when your cortisol levels are permanently high, when your adrenaline is through the roof, and the balance between you being relaxed and you being stressed is always like that. It doesn't come to do that, which is a good, resilient mind, body, and soul connection. You want to come into a state because this is the balance. This is the center stage. You will never just stay here. Really. You would want to do that because this is what we human beings do. We get stressed, we calm down. We learn, we integrate, right? So, but when your level stays like that, and it hardly does that, you want to do the kind of meditations that take you inwards and disconnect. Meaning, now, disconnect doesn't mean the rest is supposed to not exist. It means that you can watch it, listen to it, experience it without being attached, without saying that that has an impact on you, but that you are kind of in the movies and you're watching the scene from far being like, huh, interesting. Now, the other kind of meditation I'm talking about is a form of meditation that actually brings your attention outwards. And why would you use that? When you have lost meaning, purpose, direction, clarity, something to go for that aligns with who you are today and not who you think you have to be or who you once were, but really with today, based on reality as is today. When that kind of direction is lost, you want to use the other form of meditation, which is not internalizing, but externalizing your sensation. Training your mind, body, and spirit to search for outside what it is that gives you the thrill, the spark, the truthfulness. How do you do that? Let's start with the second kind. The second kind of meditation is the one that is very useful for most people who are suffering from panic and anxieties, because they most likely have lost or have not recently defined their great goals. And there's just a little side knowledge, only 2 reasons why people change in this world. It is huge pain or huge goals, sometimes both. So when they haven't defined lately their goals, the ones they want to really go for, then one thing happens. They need to learn to look outside and to get excited, to find something on the outside that nourishes their soul, that feeds, that sparks them. And you can train that by sitting down. First of all, starting to watch your breath, listening to your breath, consciously listening. How do I sound when I inhale? How do I sound when I exhale? And then you can go, and the meditations I'm giving you are not meditations where you have to sit down and find quiet or whatever. The opposite is the case. In the midst of chaos, you're standing at a corner of a very loud street and you're starting to listen to your own breath. That's what I sound like when there's stress going on. And when you have fully identified the sound of your breath, you shift towards something that is a little bit more outside your body. For example, the person next to you. Can you hear them? Or the car in front of you, or the bird on the tree. And it's not about saying if that sound is good. It's not about determining the quality of the sound. Is it a good sound? Is it a bad sound? Is it a natural sound? Whatever it is. It is just about focusing on this one thing. Out of the carpet and the mess of sounds, you're focusing on one, and then on the next, and then on the next. And you practice that every day, and you use all your 5 senses. You practice that with eyesight, hearing, taste, smell, touch. You could even practice that with energetic perception. Some people have trained, we all can do that, but not everybody is trained to do it, but can feel energetic bodies, right? If you are capable of doing that, you can also train that sense. And then make it a sensation, make it a wow. Become a child, become infinitely interested in what it is you perceive. This is the kind of meditation that will teach your system to focus, to align, not to be the person that goes to a yoga or meditation class and says like, oh, the person next to me is breathing so loud, but be the person that is like, I can tap into whatever is here and I can choose what to focus on and where I find my liking or disliking. I would always go for the liking, but whatever it is you choose. Choose to, out of a huge variety of opportunities, of options, one you focus on right now. The more you focus on being very targeted, very directed, you can then also use that power to direct yourself towards something that really aligns with all you are, right? Now, if you are a person that is completely overwhelmed in their system, like your nerve ends up really, like your nerves are kind of open, they're not mentaled well, not covered well, you would say. If everything is too much for you and the requirements coming in are too much and too big, then the other kind of the first kind of meditation would be for you, where you start to come to yourself so you can start to really be inside fulfilled without using the outside. A word of warning here. A lot of people use ear pods or anything like like meditations that guide them through something. They are awesome, but they kind of untrain your brain to do that process all by itself, and it can. You can lead yourself with the power of your brain, with the power of your consciousness through the sensations that you need in order to either calm down or get excited. Your system knows exactly what it wants. It knows exactly what it needs. But if you always give it something from the outside, it will use that as the crutch. And when you lose the crutch, it will be lost because it hasn't trained that ability. It's a little bit like those clients of mine that use the Aura Ring. Aura Ring is a fantastic thing. It's amazing. It's a tool that, if used wisely, can give you so much. But also, if you use it to bring your attention away from being able to read yourself, to really listen to yourself, and to alter your state of doing, state of being towards what your body tells you, in a direction where you need to use your ring in order to know if you feel good or bad, if you slept good or bad, if your HRV is high or low. You should all know that by yourself. Your body is telling you. Your system, your entire system is telling you what's going on with you. If you just need to understand what your body can do, to see the graphs, so you understand, this is when I felt bad. Oh, and this is where the graph is really high. And this is where I felt really good. Interesting. The graph is doing this or that. If you use a tool like the Aura Ring to learn to read yourself again, it's amazing. It's perfect. If you have some kind of disease and you want to track certain parameters, amazing. But if you want to live without crutches, self-empowered, self-disciplined, I urge you to let go of all those tools, to let go of the headphones, of the guided meditations, to let go of the Aura Rings of the world, to let go of the biohacking and biofeedbacking and whatever, and start to learn to listen to yourself and to execute on what your body is telling you, because it tells you so much. And if you learn to use the right tools for the right situations, you are equipped no matter what. But if you use the crutches that are supposed to teach you to come back to yourself in order to distract yourself from your own body, from your own perception, then you're just building yourself kind of a prison of crutches. And once they fall, you're lost, you're doomed, because you don't know how to go on in the world outside of the prison anymore. Again, this is nothing against guided meditations or an Aura device or whatever. It is merely to give you an understanding that all you need is you. And you need to know what it is you're really dealing with. Are you dealing with an overwhelm from being underwhelmed, meaning an overwhelm from shooting your energies into the blue because you don't know what to follow anymore, because your goals that you follow somehow don't feed you? Then you want to do the kind of meditation where you start to get excited again, where you start to connect to single things in the outside parameters so you can start to identify what's really giving you this spark, what it is you should follow? Or are you really overwhelmed because too much is on your shoulders, too much is going on around you, there are too many things you're dealing with at the same time, and you cannot connect to your soul again, to your inner parameters that tell you, hey, listen to this, leave out that, bodily functions not too good, you need to sleep a little more, you need to eat a little less, whatever it is. We need both. We need to be focused and targeted, as well as connected to an inner source, to our inner well that bubbles out and tells us exactly what it is it needs to stay balanced so we can play with that. So if you want to know more about that, if you want to know what kind of meditation is right for you, I'm here for you, and I'm happy to facilitate and to find out the exact right meditation for you. Otherwise, you can check out therapeutic meditation. In therapeutic meditation, it's well described what kind of meditations there are. There are, for example, meditations that work with your own voice, or meditations that work with movement, meditations work with mind, with eyesight, hearing, meditations that work with breath. So there's a million kinds, and you want to identify what is the right one for your purposes right now, and that might change over time. I'm happy to serve you, and I hope that was a good, well, informative show for you. Looking forward to seeing you again.